G'day everybody, how you going today? It is so good to see you. I do hope you are super well. We're here in this interesting location under the Bolte Bridge, and I'm bringing you this brand new lens from Viltrox. It is oh so tiny. This lens here is actually smaller than the lens cap that sits on the back of this mount. This is the 28mm f4.5 fully autofocus, fully metadata, full frame lens. The aperture is fixed though, it's fixed at 4.5. We've got it on the Z8 shooting in full frame 28mm 4.5, and I'm really looking forward to showing you this lens today. Absolutely tiny, and what that absolutely tiny form factor means is it's very, very easy to use. And you can do some interesting things like shoot video from my bike, and of course here we are under the Bolte Bridge. I'm going to go a little bit darker because it's going to expose for the background, but look at that awesome view of that absolutely epic bridge. All right, let's have a look at some images. We are shooting on the Z8 with the Viltrox 28 4.5 Z. Let's just remind ourselves that this is a $99 lens, which is about the size of a chocolate chip cookie. Pretty epic from my perspective, both price and size. Focus is very clearly and quite sharply here in the middle. We are pixel for pixel, and we can see the background is a little soft. Yes, short depth of field, or depth of field being shown, as in we can show the difference between focus and out of focus areas, is capable with this lens. We will see more examples of that coming up soon. Probably the first thing that jumps out at you with this lens every time you've got bright light sources is it does smear a little bit, and you can sort of see this happening over here in this area and a little bit over here. This was me trying to get handheld at almost 1 second. Didn't quite get there, as we can see. Okay, 1/13 of a second f4.5 on the Z8. Again, it's sharp. I mean, what's really interesting about this lens is pixel for pixel, we are sharp. We have very minor amount of purple fringing that you can just see around those letters. It's minor. I think it's really well controlled considering this lens and how affordable and how tiny it is. I like that result. Something similar is going on here as well. It's managing to render all of that really, really sharp. Tiny bit of purple fringing, but really, here we are pixel for pixel, and it's not very obvious. Handheld at 1/6 of a second, it's handling it all really well. And there's just the slightest amount of smearing and ghosting, whatever you want to call it there. Now, I just want to show you my adjustments here. I've actually added an enormous amount of vignetting because I wanted that more moody image. One of my standard alleyway sorts of images, and this is 1/5 of a second handheld focus is on the wall. Now, this lens does actually have a moving focus element that pops in and out of the lens. Again, I think this is a very impressive result for sharpness, pixel for pixel, with a lens that's $99 USD. Color, I reckon we turn that color down. There's just way too much color in there. Go back down to here somewhere. Now we are at 1/5 of a second. I do think we've probably got a small amount of camera shake here. It's just slightly soft, I think. Popping outside, I think we're probably just a little bit warm on that image. We'll just go down that way a smidge, maybe a hint of magenta in there, something like that. This lens is interesting. It has interesting characteristics that I can't quite put my finger on, but sometimes it kind of gives the impression of being soft, but then you go in and you look at it, and we're looking here, pixel for pixel, and you go, no, it's not. That's actually really, really sharp. And again, really, really sharp. And of course, this is soft because this is out of focus in the background. It's a long, long way away, probably 100 to 200 meters, and this is clearly in focus. That is sharp. You can't complain with that image. That is 64 ISO at 1/125th. And of course, that 4.5 is fixed at 4.5 always. That should be creating sharp images, and we can see that it is. Black and white works really well with this lens. It gives you the capacity to make it even sharper. You can add a little bit more contrast into the situation. No question that all of this through here is sharp. It looks good. Now in this case we're looking into the sun, but the sun is behind the clouds, so we're not really getting that flaring, ghosting, smearing sort of vibe that we see here and there with this lens. The Bolte Bridge, more Bolte Bridge.
And there we go. That's how I was filming. If you were wondering, that is my pocket camera that was chasing me around, mounted on my handlebars of the bike. There's my camera bag that I carry on my back, and that is how I do what I do. This shot is taken with the lens, and you can see it's nice and sharp here on the disc brakes. Focus is here on this boat. The bokeh areas, which we probably really wouldn't call bokeh because they're not really that much out of focus, but they do get a little bit jittery, and that is something to keep in mind. That is what that is going to look like, and you can't change it. It is fixed at 4.5. This looks great. I wanted to show you that creating short depth of field is possible with this lens. We're pretty close to minimum focus here, which is 32 centimeters or just over 1 foot. We're focusing on the rivets on the bridge here, and clearly we can see that the background is very much out of focus. I think that's quite a good result. Down at the beach, creating some beautiful seaside views. Black and white looks good, color looks good. Here's the same image either way. This image has got a really painterly vibe about it. Drop the contrast back and it softens up a little bit. Just really happy with the way that that looks. Again, if you buy a camera like a Z6 or a Z7, super affordable camera at this point in time on the second-hand market, and you get a couple of primes and you're just playing, experimenting with photography, this is full frame and these are good results, and this is $99 new. Imagine second-hand. From my perspective, a capable lens considering it's full frame. We're shooting at 45 megapixels here, and again, it's the size of a chocolate chip cookie, and it's only 99 USD. And does this lens vignette? Well, it seems to ever so slightly, but of course, as usual, that's not a problem. The final image I wanted to look at was this one, and you can see going into pixel for pixel that that is absolutely sharp in the middle there. Now, does it fall off towards the edges? Look, I think it probably does a little bit, but golly gosh, it's a great result.
All right, so let me tell you about this lens. Yes, look, it's absolutely tiny. There's nothing to it. Let me just turn this off for a second. You can see there is nothing to this lens. You can see the contacts on the back, which drives the autofocus and gets the metadata off. We can also see a USB-C port for upgrading firmware, but look at that, absolutely tiny. Now, it's a very small and very light lens. Is it perfect? No, it's not. But this is absolutely an example of where you are trading size and weight for quality. And some people are happy to make that choice because the quality is still pretty good. Now, probably the thing that's most fundamentally difficult about this particular lens is it flares. It flares when you look into the sun or into lights. It flares, it ghosts, it gets a little bit smeary. But if you don't have that backlight situation, it's actually a pretty good result. As for build quality, well, it's a mixture of metal. There's a metal mount, and the rest of it here is plastic. Now, also something else that you might find quite interesting is that lens cap there, it's built in. So that's a pretty cool thing. You never can lose your lens cap. But beyond that, there's not much to this lens. It's very, very small. It's very, very light. It's pretty good. Image quality wise, I'd probably give it a 7 to 8 when you consider its price point. I like it for the use case and the type of people that would want to use this lens. Of course, it's going to go fantastic on a Z5, Z5 II, Z6, Z6 II, Z6 III, Z8, Z9. And of course, you can use it on your APS-C cameras, of course, but that 28 millimeters, well, it's 1.5. 14 on top of that, that takes us to 42 millimeters field of view equivalent. So it almost becomes a 50 millimeter lens. Now, it's a beautiful, almost winter's day here in Melbourne. And what I love about this time of year of shooting is that the sun gets lower in the sky, so we get more atmosphere, and you just have those beautiful painterly clouds, which I will come around and show you over here how painterly these look. And well, to me, I just love these skies. I think they look absolutely fantastic. All right, everybody. Well, I'd love you to let me know in the comments below, is this sort of lens for you? Do you have any interest in this type of lens? If you're traveling, I think it's absolutely a fabulous travel lens. It's a reasonable street lens. and it's just whether there's enough quality in it for you. Obviously, we had a look at all those images there in Capture One. Well, we've seen a little bit of video as well. All right, do let me know what you think of the Viltrox 28mm full frame 4.5, fixed at 4.5. Biscuit, pancake, certainly ain't no muffin. This thing is shorter than the grip on the camera. Amazing. All right, catch you later.